right, so let's get on to some NBA here. Playoffs. I don't know if you've watched any of it, Zach, but they've been absolutely phenomenal.
I have not watched any, but I have like kind of kept up with it.
hmm So every series has some kind of storyline or intensity to it. Like, so for example, the Grizzlies and Wolves are just chippy. Like John Morant's being a complete troll the whole series, and like
Oh,
Cat's
I
getting
do
in.
I do have stuff about that.
Okay,
I know we talked about the protest earlier, besides that, which is the main headline by far. Carl Anthony Towns, I do not like him
no, I can't
because
stand
he
the guy.
like he talks all this talk and then he plays in the game and he can't even score like 10 points and he's supposed to be
hmm
like super good and he
No, he was
sucks at
completely
defense.
completely shut down. Got in foul trouble last night. Um, but yeah, I agree. I can't stand the guy watching him. He kind of gives off that, I don't know. There's something about him. I literally can't point it
Yeah,
out
he's
whenever I'm
just kind of
watching.
annoying.
hmm
I really like Anthony Edwards. He's just really exciting to watch. And I've always liked D'Angelo Russell. I just like the way he plays. He's so smooth
Oh yeah.
and he's not I don't know how he's actually been playing in this series, but I know he's not I like him because I like a lot of the players who aren't as like athletic as
hmm
some of the really top players because it's more like if you're like in high school or something, you want to like watch those because I'm not like John Morant or who can jump and touch like the
Yeah,
top of the backboard. But he's just
exactly.
so smooth and crafty and has really good mid range, which I like watching mid range players.
A couple other storylines like Joel Embiid completely, literally ripped my heart out the other night watching that. I thought the Raptors had it. Watching that whole game, we got up by 15 in the first half, and then they gave him an opportunity, and so many things happened. So, for people that don't know, Embiid hit a game winner against the Raptors, and they're up 3-0 in the series now. And obviously, no team has ever come back from 3-0, so it's pretty much done. I'm holding on to any hope there is, but like we have injuries and like things just aren't looking
Man, he
good.
had 40 points that game.
He had five, or no, he had
Wait,
eight
no.
at halftime.
Wait, hold on. 33. I
Yeah.
was looking at fantasy points.
Oh, I gotcha. But he had eight in the first half, so what, 25 in the second half. I was like, man, we were shutting him down pretty good. Like he wasn't getting anything free, and then he just went crazy. Um, but uh he's been chippy. Like again, the whole Kawhi Leonard a couple years ago hitting that buzzer beater against him. He was crying after the game. Now he's getting his revenge, and I can't stand
He's really
Embiid.
good.
He's very good. Very good at basketball.
I'm not like I like Joel Embiid. I like he did play at Kansas, which is a knock on him. Like anyone who plays at Kansas, is a little kind of a nut, but
Mhm.
he's just really funny too. Like just just with his accent and just like he's just really funny, but
I know
he's
what you
like
mean.
incredible to watch. He's just a paint beast.
Yeah, and that was the worry I came into the series because like we have our biggest guy is we have three guys that are 6'9", and Embiid's literally just bullying them down low. Like Chris Boucher is a twig compared to him, and
He's not only
um
tall, he's like
he's jacked.
ripped.
Yeah. So like if he has to face, I'm trying to think in the East, I think Giannis could hold him.
Oh
If
yeah.
if we get to that point, who else in the East is big?
Brook Lopez, like I know it's Brook Lopez, but he's actually like better defender than people think.
He is definitely. Um, and then maybe Bam Adebayo could hold him a little bit. Rudy Gobert is the name that keeps popping in my head, but that obviously in the
They're
West. So
not gonna know.
so but no,
Maybe if Robert Williams comes back for the Celtics, like I know he's shorter, but he's
he's
just
built.
jumpy.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Other storylines like the Heat Hawks series, Trey Young and Jimmy Butler have some beef going back and forth. I
Trey
feel like
Young is so annoying.
he is, and
Oh
I feel
my
like Jimmy
god. He
Butler
tries to be
has,
this like bad boy and he's like
yeah,
5'2" and he's like
yeah.
skinny.
No, yeah, and Jimmy Butler, I feel like has beef with just about everybody, even his own team, as we saw a couple weeks
I
ago. So,
I I kind of like Jimmy Butler, just like his attitude. He's just like not messing around.
no, he's
And in the
intense.
playoffs, he's incredible. He's a super like he is a superstar, but like in the playoffs, he takes it to a whole nother level and just takes over.
Yeah, a couple other things like injuries is coming up really big. Like, Devin Booker is out 2 to 3 weeks with a hamstring strain, and the Pelicans actually knocked them off in Phoenix a couple nights
Hmm.
ago, and they play tonight, I believe. Series is tied 1-1, obviously going back to New Orleans. So could we see an 8-1, 8 knock off a one? That'd be kind of surprising. And then the other one is Chris Middleton is out for the rest of round one with a sprained MCL. And Chicago actually looked really good in Milwaukee the other night, and they knocked off
Mhm.
Milwaukee. So they're tied 1-1.
Yeah.
It just seems like everything is up for grabs here. Luka's day to day, but your Mavs have looked absolutely
Jalen Brunson.
great. He's been phenomenal. Like 41 in game 2, 31 in game 3, and of course the Jazz are choking like they do just about every year.
I think I don't like Stephen A. Smith, but he did say something that I do agree with. He's like, the Jazz, he's like, I just want them gone. He's like, I can't watch them. He's like, they're always so hyped up and they always underperform. Like
Yep.
they have Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench. Joe Ingles is still on their team, right?
No, he
got
left,
traded.
But Bogdanovich.
Yeah. And then they have some other guys who are good role players. They're just a regular season team.
Definitely. And I feel like I feel bad for Quinn Snyder because he's a Mizzou guy. He used to be an assistant here. But I think he will get fired.
He looks goofy too.
He does.
He looks like he smokes a lot of weed.
He does. But no, I don't think it's his fault. I mean, obviously they're good in the regular season, so I don't think he's a bad coach whatsoever. But I think he's gonna get the fault for it and probably be out. And then you have to split up Donovan and Rudy. And obviously between the two, we agree you keep Donovan.
Yeah,
and that's no hate. That's no hate on Rudy. A lot of people hate on Rudy. I'm not with that.
I think he's good. I hope he goes to the Mavericks. If he goes to the Mavericks,
might be game over.
He doesn't have to score because they got scores.
So how far do you think your Mavs can go without Luka? I mean, Luka should be back.
Who would they play if they win this? They should beat the Jazz. They're up 2-1, right?
Yep, in Utah. Yep, and then they would play.
They don't reseed an NBA, do they?
No. So is it the Suns Pelicans matchup?
That's 1-8. So no, the 4-5 would play the Suns or Pelicans. So it's I'm looking at this. The Grizzly Timberwolves? Yeah, Grizzly or Timberwolves.
That's the 2-7.
Yeah, I think they could beat either one of those teams, really.
Definitely. Like the Grizzlies came back from 26 last night, and I was about to mention that here, but they look like a team that's like everybody looks beautiful. Everybody looks beatable, besides really the Warriors right now. Like
the Warriors are playing. You're forgetting phenomenal. One big series. You're talking about all these series. The Celtics,
yeah.
Nets.
I have it up next here. Yeah. Let's get right into that actually, because Celtics won the first two, and I have it written down because I was watching the game and I was writing down notes as the game was on. And I put KD and Kyrie have been terrible, but then I had to delete that because in game one, Kyrie had 39 on 12 of 20 shooting. But in game two, he was 4 for 13 with 10 points. KD in the whole series has been terrible. He's scoring, 27 and 23 in each game respectively, but 13 for 41, 31%, 1 for 7 from 3 altogether. And then the second half, I don't remember what lead they had against the Nets. I don't remember how much, or against the Celtics, sorry. But KD and Kyrie shot 1 for 17 in the second half.
Oh, wow.
You can't have that. You just can't. And then news that Ben Simmons may be back for game 4. The thing with them is I don't see chemistry in defense happening.
I think Ben Simmons would help them a ton because they can't play defense, and he can at least guard Tatum or Brown. Yeah, because when Tatum had that game-winning layup, it was KD's guy, and he just lost him. He just ran right behind him, and
got his back turned. Yep.
And also, I do want to bring up one little thing. You remember a long time ago when you're asking us if we wanted to build a team, would we build it on offense or defense? I think this is case in point where you'd want to build it around defense. Like
you're using the Nets as the example?
Yeah, they're for sure just offense, best off, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, two of the best scorers to ever play, best offensive players. And then the Celtics, they have good offensive players, but their defense was number one in the league. And that. This is probably the one time I would actually watch NBA, which I have not watched any of it yet. But that last play to try to get a shot that Kyrie had, and they just locked him up. Like they're
Yeah.
switching, they threw to Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum locked him up. It was I don't know, just watching some good defense, like the guys sliding their feet and they can't get past him. It just gets me going.
And Marcus Smart actually won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah,
He's the first guard to win it since Gary Payton in like the '90s, which I thought was pretty cool.
I think he deserves it. Yeah,
I
because
think he does
a
too.
lot of big guys get it just because they get blocks.
Exactly. Yeah, he was my pick because he's 6'4". He's not a small guard,
Mhm.
but he can. He's very strong. He's very physical. He can match up against wing players. But there's a couple other awards here too that are coming up in the next couple weeks. Who's your MVP? It's going to be between Giannis, Embiid, or Jokic. Who would you give it to?
Uh,
We've talked about it a little bit throughout the season.
any
But
of them?
I'd probably lean towards Jokic or Embiid.
Yeah.
Who I think they'll give it to is Embiid. Who I think deserves it is Jokic. I'll go with that. I don't think they don't like giving it 2 times in a row to people. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Even
very
though
rare.
honestly, Giannis just
Yeah.
like Giannis, his offense is incredible. And I think he's a better defender than Jokic. Like he could have won defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
But
Do you think the Bulls can knock off the Bucks? They're
I
going back to Chicago tonight.
I think they could just because like I love the Bucks, but like Giannis is incredible. But whenever you don't have Middleton to kick it out,
Mhm.
like Drew Holiday is a good player, but he's not as good of a shooter as Middleton is. So it's they can just pack the lane against Giannis, and like Giannis will still score like 30 points even though they triple team
Yeah.
him. But
Yeah, they're going to need Drew Holiday to be huge, and they're going to need role guys like Bobby
Brook
Portis,
Lopez has been
Westbrook.
shooting great. I think I
Yeah.
watched. I don't know what it was. Maybe a little bit of the game, or maybe when we were in Jacksonville looking for apartments, we went someplace and they were playing, and
Yeah.
the Bucks got up like 9-0, and Brook Lopez was like a dead eye from 3-point land.
Yeah. Also, DeMar DeRozan scored 41 last game and was just dominant.
Which is surprising because in Toronto he always underperformed in the
Oh
playoffs.
yeah, he choked every year. Same thing with Kyle Lowry. I mean, Kyle Lowry was a better performer in the playoffs, but he did the same thing. And I don't know
Mhm.
actually how Kyle's been doing in that series um, against the Hawks, but I know they're up 2-0. I think game 3 might be tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, it's tonight.
Okay.
Hold on. Heat and Hawks play tonight. Bucks, Bulls, Suns, Pelicans.
Okay. So
Let me
yeah, this
see how Kyle Lowry's done. They played the game so far apart, which I don't like.
what do you mean by that?
It's like 2 days of rest in between each
Oh,
game.
yeah. Yeah, some
I'm like,
series
just
have
play them
gotten
back to
that.
back.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Are you looking up Kyle Lowry real quick?
Yeah, the last. Oh my God, I didn't know Jimmy Butler scored 45 their last game. Dang.
I did not know that either. Holy
Kyle
cow.
Lowry, he went off the last game. 9 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists.
He actually got me there. I thought he was going to actually have a
Took
big game.
over. He had 2 blocks though.
How many minutes did he play?
Like,
Did he play a good amount?
37, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I guess you just throw it to Jimmy Butler. He was playing pretty good.
I know Duncan Robinson had like 27 in game 1.
Oh, really? I love Duncan Robinson.
I mean, he was shooting the heck out of the ball. Tyler Hero has been good. So they're a team that's interesting too. Obviously, they're the 1 seed. They don't have that superstar. I wouldn't label Chris or Jimmy Butler a superstar, but he's a star. And
I don't know. He scored 45 points,
and
and he's led him to a finals.
I was about to say in that finals, he was phenomenal too. So yeah, I mean it's possible. I like he's definitely a star. Superstars for me are like it has to be something you don't just throw that word out, you know. It's like 10 guys or 8 guys. Like it's a short list. And we should do that in an episode. Come up with like superstars. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, you already know what I would do to you to make you mad.
I know. You're gonna put him as a bum.
Yeah, probably.
Not
I
even
wasn't
a
even thinking
star.
about that category. Thanks. Do you think the Pelicans could win the series against the Suns?
I honestly do, especially without Devin Booker, because Chris Paul's. I mean, I'm not hating on Chris Paul whatsoever, but he's Devin Booker can go get you 30 or 35.
Chris Paul's older, where like maybe when he was younger he could get you 30 easy, but like he's 37,
yeah,
38.
yeah. So where's the scoring going to come from? Because Bridges, I thought actually Bridges was another guy that could win Defensive Player of the Year, and
Did
I
you see that
really
he hasn't missed a single game since he's gotten the league?
yes, I did see that.
I've
That's
always liked
crazy.
Mikhail Bridges.
Yeah, Mikhail.
Speaking of him, he went to Villanova. Jay Wright retired.
Yes, yeah, I forgot about that actually. Good
Yep.
mention there. But where's the scoring going to come from? Like, it's got to be Aiton. You're going to need just collective group.
Jay Crowder.
Jay Crowder, Mikhail Bridges,
Cam Johnson.
Campaign. Like, you're going to need guys just.
I know the guy who's going to provide the scoring.
Who's that?
JaVale McGee.
Is he getting any minutes right now?
He scored 10 points in their last game. He had 14 minutes, so he's 4 for 4. He actually played really good.
Okay. Yeah, he's a guy that like gets like a lot
he was
of like
+2 in points in the plus minus. Only him and Campaign were plus, and then everyone else was minus. So
like JaVale makes a lot of plays that go viral because they look terrible, but he's honestly like he's been around a while now, and he's been good just about everywhere he went. He's like a 2-time champion with the Warriors, so
great 2K player.
He is. Yeah, I just throw lobs to him all day.
Yeah, he's so tall. He blocks everything.
Back to that Raptors Sixers series though. Game 4 is tomorrow afternoon. The Raptors trying to hold on, but Embiid, there's a couple things that happened in the last play. Now I should have just shared my screen, but
you can if you want.
I don't have it pulled up. It would take me a minute to pull it up. That's the problem. But Embiid, they were running out of time at the end of it was overtime. At the end of overtime, and he had it on the wing, and he was like doing this ISO, and I think it was Precious Achua that was guarding him, and they brought a double, and we had a foul to give, and Precious knocked it out of his hands, and Embiid got it. He was like at half court, chucked a half court shot with like a second left on the shot clock, and Doc Rivers had called timeout. Now this is interesting because Doc Rivers ran from his baseline, his sideline, his bench, all the way past half court near the Raptors bench. He was in front of Nick Nurse in the Raptors bench and was like holding the ref calling a timeout. And obviously it's playoffs. You don't call this stuff, but it's obviously not. I mean, I'm not using this.
He was out of the coach's box.
Exactly. That's
the line's on the floor for a reason.
Yeah. So I had a problem with that, but obviously, I mean, that's not why we lost or anything. The other thing was an illegal screen that was set on the last play to get Embiid the shot. Tobias wasn't set at all. He literally just like put his hands over his crotch and just like literally just kept walking and knocked Precious out of the way. And then Embiid drilled the shot. But yeah, I've watched that Embiid shot like 10 times now, and like it's just terrible. Do you have any teams that can like stand out and kind of surprise some people? Maybe make a Eastern Finals or Western Finals?
Honestly, the Celtics, I didn't think they would. I thought the Nets would at least gotten one game, but they've been playing amazing defense, and I think they could win it all, honestly.
Yeah.
I think Embiid would be hard just because he's so big, but or like Giannis, just because they don't have like Tatum's not as tall as Giannis. They don't really have like a guy like size wise that matches up exactly, but I just like their team built of a bunch of lengthy guards.
Mm-hmm.
Tatum's basically a guard. He's just taller, but
yeah,
I think they could do it something. And then the Western Conference.
You pick Bucks over who in the finals? Suns?
I think the Warriors.
Warriors, okay. And I picked Celtics over Warriors. So
I'm not liking my Bucks pick anymore. I love the Bucks, but
you're gonna need Giannis and some others to.
Oh, the Western Conference Warriors. The Warriors have been like they could win it all. Yes. They've looked probably the best out of everyone, I would say.
And I don't think Steph Curry should ever start again because he's dropping 30 off the bench every night.
And Jordan Poole, like
yes,
they found another splash pro.
Yeah,
and Thompson's been playing good.
Mm-hmm. And as much as you and I both dislike Draymond, he's been doing his job.
He doesn't score. He's basically Dennis Rodman in a smaller body.
I literally saw this and I was like, I have to tell Zach this. So
is it something about LeBron?
No, it has nothing to do with LeBron.
Good.
Their top 4 players are obviously Curry right now. Curry, Poole, Thompson, Draymond. Wiggins is probably their fifth option. Okay.
I completely forgot he was on their team.
Would
Dang,
you
they're
would you agree that Andrew Wiggins is their fifth option?
right now in this playoffs, yes. If it was in like the regular season, beginning of the year, Andrew Wiggins would be their third.
So that like right now, you would say he's their fifth.
Like scoring, I'd put him above Draymond.
Okay. But what I'm getting at is like he was an all-star starter for the West, which is like the top 5 players. I mean, that's how it should be. Obviously, it's a fan vote.
That's one thing I hate about All-Star games is the fan vote. I think it should be based on players, like players should vote instead of or players and coaches or not even journalists. Like
I agree.
Players or coaches, because then like Zaza Pachulia almost got a starter. I'm like, if he got a starter,
and we've obviously talked baseball wise and the Cubs a couple years ago and the Giants and
Addison Russell.
Yeah.
The only time I liked the fan vote is when it was in St. Louis, and like we had tickets because we have like we're in a group for season tickets, and I remember voting because that's when they would pass the little pamphlets around, which I wish they still did. I think you get way more votes than doing it online. And you push in like the little holes. And I remember I would always previous years I would always pick all the best players for the National League. Then I'd pick players on the American League that I've never heard before that suck because I wanted the National League to win. But then that one year I'm like picking everyone I wanted to see. So I'm picking like Albert, Miguel Cabrera, Ichiro. Ichiro made it. That was a big one for me. I don't even remember. There's a lot of like the generational players, like the 2010s, because it was in 2009.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like the really, really good players, and like they're all in. It wasn't like a lot of like younger up and coming like we've seen in previous years, like a lot of newcomers, but it was awesome.
You took me like back to my childhood there with that pamphlet thing. I forgot about that.
That was like my favorite. They'd bring them around and you'd like poke the holes. It was so fun.
It was.
I think they should bring it back. Rob Manfred, that's another reason why you suck.
I don't think I have anything else NBA wise. Just keep watching them, guys. Like I know Zach, you and Colin both kind of crap on the NBA during the season, but playoffs has been a lot of fun.
They actually play real defense.
What was the game? I think it was the Nets Celtics game. It was like 97-97 at the end of the game. And like it's just intense.
The only thing I wish they would do is actually call travels.
I agree. Yeah, and that illegal screen on Tobias Harris. You should have called that too.
You're not. Sounds like you're a little bit bitter about it. So
I am. I mean, I am very bitter, but that was not the reason we lost. I mean, we were up by 15, even in game 3. No, that was game 3. In game 2 in Philly, we were up 11-2 to start the game and coughed that one up. So they're missing like whenever they had Kawhi, they had that guy. Like they can depend on like Fred VanVleet's very good, but he's either there or he's not. Pascal is like I think Pascal is going to get an all NBA third team this year. He was fantastic all year, but Embiid has shut him down completely.
Really?
Gary Trent's dealing with the flu. Scotty Barnes has a boot on right now. His boot just came off, so hopefully he'll be back. Maybe.
Anunoby's been playing good.
Oh yeah. Anunoby's been very good.
Missouri.
Actually, like insanely good. Now that he's talking about
I believe he went to high school in Jeff City.
Yes, it was Jeff City or Kansas City. I think it was Jeff. Yeah.
I think it was Jeff City.
Yeah. Well, let's finish up with some NFL here. We haven't talked about NFL in a couple weeks.
The NFL is the one sport that always it's always in the news. It's by far every sports network's favorite thing to talk about.
Yes.
Especially the draft, which is coming up next Thursday.
Yes.
And it's what I swear SportsCenter, they talk more about this draft for the last 3 months than any other sport.
Yep.
And it is so funny how no combine or anything's happened, and they'll just talk about people, and then some apparently just because like some like analysts like Dan Orlovsky says he doesn't like someone, then apparently they like drop. It's so weird. It's so bizarre to me, but the draft is here.
Something weird with the draft this year is that like I don't think there's any. I think there's good players, and there could be superstars, but there's no like standout number one guy.
It could be
Usually,
like a whole slew of people.
who do you think would be the number one guy?
It is the Jaguars. You know, my second favorite
Your
team now.
team.
Got to get some of that Jaguars swag. But on the CBS, I'm looking at CBS right now, mock draft, and they have Aiden Hutchinson. I would not take him. I would take Evan Neal from Alabama, offensive lineman, or this offensive lineman from NC State. I think you have Trevor Lawrence and you need to protect him. Like, I think, or like Aiden Hutchinson or someone's not a bad pick. Like, I think defensive line and offensive line, it's like probably one of the least talked about positions, but I think it's by far one of the most important positions in football, because you have to be able to I can't think of the word, control the line of scrimmage. There we go.
I was gonna say pressure and protect, but like Kayvon Thibodeau, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, he's been dropping a lot.
He has. I thought he was like the number one guy for quite a while.
I think he's gonna be. I would take him over Aiden Hutchinson. I just think but I think he could be a steal for people.
Who do you think is the first quarterback that goes off?
It's seeming like it's going to be Malik Willis. He's been the one who's been trending up a lot.
Yep. I think I'm going to go Kenny Pickett with the 6th pick, even though apparently he's got tiny hands.
Yeah. My hands are bigger than him. I measured them on a paper. And it's like, yeah, a piece of paper is like, if your hands are bigger than that, then your hands are bigger than Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. But I think the Panthers pick a quarterback no matter what. They really need one. So I think they'll go Kenny there. If not, they'll go Malik. I predict Malik goes 8th to the Falcons. I think he might even share time with Mariota. And kind of do like a dual quarterback type thing. If not, he'll just kind of work under Mariota.
I think Mariota is super smart and a good person. I think he'd be perfect to work under.
Yep. And then
I know in some mock drafts they had Trayvon Walker, he's defensive line. They had him going first to the Jaguars. I saw that in a lot of them. So he's another possibility, like him, Hutchinson, O'Neal, Thibodeau. Literally, like a bunch of people could go.
Yeah, which is interesting because you always, like I mentioned this at the beginning, like you always have. Seems like every year you know who the number 1 or maybe number 2 guy. I mean, you could even list off the top 5 maybe.
Like last year, Lawrence. Yeah. Kyler Murray, Baker Mayfield, Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, all those guys are like,
I back to that Mariota thing. I think Mariota. Do you remember what the contract looks like
for Mariota? I thought it was like 2 years, 1 or 2 years.
But is the money a lot?
I think it's decent.
I didn't think so, but
I'll look on my phone real quick.
But I was gonna say it might be one of those like. They're obviously not going to be contenders or anything, but kind of a flash in the pan type of thing where either Mariota is really good, but if he flops, then you can just put in Malik Willis, that type of thing.
His it's 2 years, 18.75 million.
So like 9 a year.
So pretty good.
Yeah.
I'd take that.
Yeah, seriously. That's actually more than I thought it was going to be. Seahawks coming at 9. I do want to mention the Hawks there. And I think a lot of people have us getting a quarterback, either Willis falling there or Matt Corral available or Desmond Ritter. I think they skip on all of them. I'm going to predict they skip on all of them.
I would not take a quarterback. This is not a great quarterback draft. And there's some pretty good, I know you guys have receivers and some defensive players. Like on the CBS one, they have you taking Derek Stingley Jr., cornerback from LSU.
Yep, that's who I actually want. That's the one guy I put down. If Evan Neal is available in a lot of lists, actually, that I've seen. But again, he's another guy you mentioned even could go 1. So, but I would take Evan Neal over Stingley. If not, I would take Stingley. Those were the 2 names I put down. You need to protect Drew Lock. Again, we're not going to be competitive this year. If we are, it's a complete surprise. But where do the Cowboys pick?
We are 24th.
Okay.
And I want Tyler Linderbaum, offensive lineman from Iowa. They have us right now taking Nakobe Dean on CBS, which is the first time I've ever looked at a mock draft, and it doesn't have us taking Tyler Lindenbaum.
Mhm.
So I don't want Nakobe Dean. He's a linebacker. Like, I guess, like, we have Micah Parsons and we re-signed Van Der Esch. But
Do you think anybody will trade up really high in the draft and try to get somebody? Or I mean, again, it doesn't seem like
maybe
this is the draft to do that.
I don't. There's a
Um,
lot of good receivers, so I don't think you would do it for receiver. I
because
don't.
like
I don't. I'm sure someone will trade up for something, like maybe a couple picks. I don't think anyone's going to trade up. Like, someone could trade up to number one. Like, if I was Jacksonville, I'd listen to number ones because it's
yeah,
not a clear number one. Like, player, like how we were talking about. There's not like a clear number one.
yeah. I the Steelers are the team that I'm curious about. Obviously, like you said, there's not a quarterback that stands out really. But are they just going to ride it out with Mitchell Trubisky, or do they want? Are they going to wait? I don't. Do you know where they picked? Do you have the list? I don't have it pulled up.
Let me look.
But I mean, there's some quarterbacks there. I mean, Pickett, Willis, Ritter,
I
Corral.
my I think Matt Corral is going to be the best.
He's the Ole Miss, right?
Yes.
And
He played
Ritter's
against
Cincinnati.
SEC competition, good competition. He was pretty accurate and he's mobile.
Mm-hmm. He was the one besides Willis that if the Seahawks pick somebody, I would want. I heard Desmond Ritter is really like a really good leader. They
Yeah.
talked about how he kind of like in his interview with teams or with coaches, whatever it was, kind of took over like the room with his like kind of presence that he had.
Yeah.
But did you find where the Steelers are?
Yeah, they picked 20th. And on this mock draft, they have them taking Malik Willis.
20th?
I don't know if this is the greatest mock draft. They have also Sam Howell's in there. And I think Sam Howell I think this year he didn't play good because the year before both his starting running backs got drafted and his like top receivers left. So we had a bunch of newcomers. But I think he could be they have him going 16th to the Saints, and I think he could be a really good player because he can sling it.
He's the North Carolina quarterback. Correct?
Yes.
Did you ever get to see him play?
No. When we played them, it was I don't think so. We beat them a couple, or my sophomore year, his freshman year, we played them at North Carolina, and that's when we won, like by stopping them when they went for a 2-point conversion.
Gotcha.
And then I think the year after that was COVID year, so I don't think we played them. And then this year we didn't play them because they're not in our side of the conference.
And I was reading something when you were just talking about it, but it was the year before last. He was a senior, correct?
A junior.
Okay, so his sophomore year, that's when he was like insane, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's when they had like Javonte Williams with Denver. He was on their team. Michael Carter on the Jets. They had their dual running backs. They both ran over 1,000 yards. They had two good receivers. I don't remember their name, but they were both really good too.
And then
he went off.
He had a little bit of a drop off this year, correct?
Yeah, they had like all new position,
Yeah.
like skill position players around him.
And he's for sure entering the draft.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of good wide receivers in this draft. I think it's probably one of the best wide receiver drafts in a while. Like Garrett Wilson from Ohio State, very good player. Jameson Williams from Alabama. I know he tore his ACL, but I think it says he probably won't be ready for the start of the season, but he is very fast. If you watched the SEC championship game, very fast. Drake London or Chris Olave and Drake London are ones that people have been, or Chris Olave I know is really good, but Drake London's the guy, he plays for USC, so I like never really hear of him. I have no idea who he was until the draft stuff.
Olave is the Ohio State wide receiver. That's the guy I was thinking of. Yeah.
Jahan Dotson from Penn State's supposed to be good. There's a lot. George Pickens.
It's over 3 days, correct? Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yeah, Thursday's the first round. Friday's the second and third, and then Saturday's the 4th through 7th.
Okay.
And there is a Clemson Andrew Booth. He's a cornerback. and he's been projected first round. And I know they have a lot of cornerbacks above him, but I've watched basically his whole career, and he is incredible. Like I think he could be the best cornerback out of the draft. He made this catch against Virginia. I was at the game. It was a COVID year, and I got a ticket to the game. Well, my only game I went to that year. But he had this interception. I don't know if you've seen it, but you have to look it up. It is incredible. He was like covering this guy who was thrown to the end zone. He like catches it, like backhands and catches it one handed and pulls in.
That
He
sounds
just,
familiar. Yeah.
he's very good.
Did you have anything else NFL wise? NFL draft or?
Devo Samuel requested a trade.
That's right. That's right. Where do you think he goes to?
Um,
Any names right off the top of your head?
I did hear that he liked a picture of him swapped in a Cowboys jersey. So it'd be kind of nice to have Devo. I don't think he will get him, but it'd be nice to.
It'd be nice. I'm going to be glad to get him out of the NFC West, so the Seahawks
Yes.
don't have to see him twice a year.
And this is like how many more years is on his contract? One more?
Yeah, and how old is he? He's young, right?
He's
Like
young.
25, 26, something like that.
Yeah, he's really young. But I know a lot of players have been doing this where they like kind of can't get a deal and they like ask for trade. I'm gonna see how old he is real quick. He's 26.
Okay.
But my thing with it is last year was probably his breakout year. Like he never really had a good year before that. Like, okay, you had 1 year. Like, how about you prove your worth this year playing with us and have a second good year, then we'll pay you the money instead of being like, I had one good year, pay me the money. Now I'm gonna be a little bit of a diva and request a trade. Like I hate that, especially in like NBA and honestly any sports. I'm just like, it's just annoying.
I know what you
Just
mean.
grow up. I don't know.
I mean, I think the whole league's going to kind of look different though. Russell Wilson's gone, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, now Devo. Like, it's going to be interesting. And then the season starts in what, September, something like that.
Yeah, like first week of September-ish.
Yeah, so we still got some time for that. I don't have anything else NFL wise. I do have like some guys. Gonzaga. I want to throw out some Gonzaga guys that are going to the NBA draft. Chet declared, and then Drew Timmy declared actually, which I don't think is a good idea.
Yeah, he's gonna suck. He's not even gonna get drafted.
And then Nemhard also committed, like, or declared. So like all
I think
three
he'd
of
be
the
good.
guys are gone. So
Gonzaga's going downhill.
unless they get some recruits coming in,
I don't know. I bet they still get recruits. You know why?
Why is that?
Because Mark Few probably give them marijuana so they can get DUIs or whatever.
I will agree. I'm not a Mark Few fan,
Yeah, I don't
especially
like
after
him.
that whole DUI situation. I mean, people make mistakes, whatever. But I watched the video.
But it's like you're a coach of a team. Like, how can you do that?
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta be more
situationally aware.
Yeah, aware. Yeah. But did you have anything else to talk about today?
No.
Well,
you mentioned Jay Wright retired.
Yes, that's the big
21 years at Villanova, 2 national titles.
And I sent you that video of like him.
Yeah, where after they made the buzzer beater, he just like no reaction.
Yeah. Well, as the shot was going up, he was like bang, and then it was. I think Chris Jenkins is his name. That's the guy who made the shot. But yeah, he's a legend for sure. And I don't know. Do you know how old he is roughly? Is he
He's 60.
60?
He does not look 60.
No, he doesn't. Do you think he's done coaching? Do you think he?
Yeah, he said he's at peace and done.
Wow.
I know a lot of people were saying they were liking Jay Wright because he didn't make a retirement. He didn't have a retirement tour like Coach K.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that's all we have today. Thanks everyone for listening and watching. We'll be back next week for episode 16. Continue to subscribe and spread the news. Again, we got 30 more subscribers in the last one, which means a lot to us. We have a lot of interviews lined up too in these next few weeks, so we can't wait to get to that. But we'll see you guys next time.